Hey guys, welcome back to the Back Check Podcast. My name's Cam Azurv alongside Dawson Smith, and today we got our second guest appearance with Jimmy Schuldt. Uh, Jimmy is a Minnesota native and spent played college hockey at St. Cloud University. Was a 3-year captain and is now playing for the Rochester Americans in the AHL, the Buffalo Sabres. So once again, thanks for Jimmy for coming on. I know as we talked about it for a little while, and I'm glad we could make that happen. Uh, so I guess the first question for you would be just tell what was your life like from being from Minnesota and playing college hockey in Minnesota?
It was great. So I don't know where you guys are from. I didn't have a chance to ask that, but in Minnesota, I think kind of the beauty about being able to play hockey there is kind of when you start out, you're playing for your home basically, and for me that was Minnetonka. So you're able to play youth hockey and high school hockey at home, and if you're real serious about it, and if you get the chance, there's when I was playing 5, but now 6 Division I programs in the state, and a bunch more Division III, and obviously a lot more levels than that. But my parents both went to St. Cloud. I kind of grew up a St. Cloud State hockey fan, and I remember watching them in the old WCHA Final Fives, and just kind of watching them play the Gophers and that type of thing. And for me, it was a really cool opportunity, and just kind of being able to grow up and watch games, and just be an hour away from home in college, and have that opportunity was really special.
That's really cool. We're from Maine, so I'm not from not quite Minnesota, but yeah, that's really cool, especially to play for your home state. And then the next interesting thing, just doing my research and everything, seeing that you were a 3-year captain, quite an impressive achievement, and I'm sure I've heard like some articles about your teammates, just like talking about your character. What does that like? What does that mean to you to have that honor as a captain and playing for a team in your home state?
It's just pretty much what you said. It was an honor. I was a co-captain my first 2 year, or my sophomore and my junior year. So for me to kind of have another captain alongside me, and it was definitely a learning experience, I would say. At first, I didn't really know what to make of it, and kind of as a sophomore, as a younger guy, it was difficult. There were some growing pains. There was some things I had to learn kind of early on, in order to really do a better job in my kind of as an upperclassman. So I think it was just the more I learned, the more it was just I think I was just myself a little bit more, and not something that I thought other people wanted me to be. But it really was an honor just to have teammates see me as a leader. I think it's something that I learned at a young age. My dad, he was actually played football at St. Cloud State, and he was a captain, and he coached us in every sport, and he's just a natural leader, just the way he is, I guess. I think my mom would also want me to add that she was a 3-sport varsity captain in high school, and she also played 3 sports in college, and actually went to St. Cloud to play softball, and ended up just being a student. But for me, I think it's just something I learned from my parents for sure, and a lot of captains that I played with have just kind of shown me how to do that type of thing. And
Right.
most of all, for me, I think it's just being myself, trying to work hard and lead by example, and kind of let that be my style, I think.
Absolutely. So speaking of like your parents being multiple sport athletes, did you play any other sports growing up besides hockey?
I did. I played football until high school. Once the 2-a-days in the month of August started to be a mandatory thing, I kind of just started to play hockey at that time of year, and
Right.
I played baseball until my junior year of high school, and then after that, it was for me the amount of summer that baseball kind of took over. It was for me. I think at that point I knew I wanted to play hockey in college, and I knew that was kind of my thing. So I started playing hockey more of a year-round thing at that point. But for me, I think baseball was my favorite sport growing up.
Oh, wow.
It's not as would say it doesn't really take as much energy. Obviously, you guys, I don't know if you played baseball or not. You
Yeah,
guys both did.
I know he Dawson
So,
did for a little bit.
nice. Yeah. So it's fun. I think for me, it's just kind of like the little games inside the games, whether you're pitching or catching or playing the different positions. It's just, I think there's so much that goes into it that people don't understand. So I get my fill of that in the summer playing men's league softball.
There we go.
Yeah, for a team in Minnetonka, we played right in the lake, which was a lot of fun. And a couple of my buddies that I grew up playing hockey and baseball with are also on that team, and actually a couple of my former coaches as well. So
Awesome.
that's kind of how I get my fix. But yeah, hockey was as soon as I was a junior, it kind of took over.
Awesome. And to kind of describe what it was like being an undrafted, like going to the NHL from an undrafted player, like what was that process like for you, and how did that trend? When did that process start happening?
Yeah, actually, I think it ended up being an advantage for me, but I think just the way it played out was when I was a senior, it was my first year of draft eligibility, and most guys, if they don't get drafted, it's a their first year of eligibility, they just don't really get drafted. It happens sometimes where guys do in their second or third year, but I think the rule is that the team that drafts you gets 4 or 5 years of your rights. And for me, at that point, it was pretty evident that I wouldn't be signing any NHL contracts within that amount of time, because I would, go and play juniors and then go to play college. And so honestly, it probably would have been pretty pointless for teams to draft me at that point.
Right.
But there was I don't know, I think my advisor at the time, my now agent, said, you maybe you'll go in the 7th round, but it's probably not. And I wasn't really disappointed about that, because as a high schooler, you're kind of focused on the present.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, so when the time came, to sign after my senior year, it was actually a pretty cool experience, because there was more than one team that I kind of was talking to, and it was almost like recruiting all over again. But yeah, it was interesting, but I think in the end, it worked out to my advantage.
It's awesome. It's such a cool story to, not everybody gets drafted. We don't hear the media kind of talk about it. Not everybody gets drafted, and you don't have to be drafted to, make it professionally. So that's cool. You went that route as well. And what do you think your average day looks like as a pro now? Is it a little different from college, you think, or?
It's actually a lot different. My first year, I live with my fiance now in Rochester, but my first year I was kind of on my own. And that was a bit of an eye-opening experience, because in college I lived with just 3 of my best friends for, like all year. And you have class, you have, obviously hockey, you have the volunteering work you have to do. For us at St. Cloud, we were involved we had chapel with a local guy in town with hockey ministries. We had just kind of a lot on our plates. So there wasn't really ever time to just, chill out and do nothing. It was more like, what am I going to do with my time when I do have free time? It's so it was different. Like in college, you're always doing something. There's always something going on. And if not, like you have roommates, so we go bowling or do whatever, in St. Cloud. And when pro hockey hit, it was like, you have your own apartment. I lived with a few other guys in the same apartment complex. And so we'd hang out, go to lunch. But after that, it was like, wow, it's 2 p.m. and you have the rest of the day with nothing to do. And I would literally find myself standing around my apartment, just like standing around. And I'd be like, what am I going to do next? Like I've called all my friends today. Like, like my buddies have jobs. My brothers are doing school. My parents are even busy. And it's like, man, like, so I picked up a guitar. I started playing that. I played video games. So now after the first year, I kind of started like picking up a little bit more hobbies and trying to plan out stuff just to do during the day instead of having nothing to do. So I'm actually trying to put my finance degree to work and doing some investing in my free time. Like now that my fiance's here, we'll be able to do stuff because she works from home. So as soon as she's done working, we usually, go to dinner or go on a walk or just kind of do whatever. And
Right.
but yeah, I would say to answer your question, typical day in pro hockey is you just wake up. We're lucky to have breakfast at the rink. We do, you warm up and work out at the rink. You have practice, and on a game day, you'd go home and nap and get your pregame meal in, and then go back to the rink basically.
Nice.
So game days are pretty full, but practices typically you're done by 1 or 2. Today was a little bit of a longer day, so I was home by 2. Went to get coffee with a few of the guys, and then pretty much had the rest of the day off until I'm talking to you guys. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Next question. What
Sounds
was it
great.
like being a Hobie Baker nominee, and what was that process like at the time?
It was really cool. For me, I just signed an NHL contract and with Vegas, and I was in Vegas just at the end of the year. I just played my first and only at this point NHL game, and my coach called me and just said, "You're a top 3 finalist with Cale Makar and Adam Fox." And
Pretty good competition.
those guys are obviously, like, looking back now, they're two Norris finalists and Norris winner, and arguably 2 top 5 defensemen in the world.
Yeah.
So I was in good company for sure. And yeah, it's just he told me I'm flying out to Buffalo. Ironically, that's where training camp was for me this year.
Right.
And I'm hoping to get back there at some point this year. But that was my first time in Buffalo, and it's just, for me, it was a little bit bittersweet actually, because that's where the Frozen Four was. And for our team that year, we were the best team in the country. I believe I believe we still, we should have gotten farther than we did, and we definitely should have been there based on how good we were. But I think the beauty of college hockey, if you guys follow it, it's like anyone can get there, and anyone
absolutely.
who gets into the tournament can win. So we got bounced by AIC, a bit of a sore subject, but yeah. And then I was in, like, being in Buffalo it was weird because that's the Frozen Four was going on, and I thought I should have been there with my whole team. I thought we should have been there, together and still battling for a national championship. But it was a cool experience. The Hobie Baker committee and everyone involved in it is so passionate about it, and they were really accommodating. I met John Buccigross, which was pretty cool. The guy's a character.
Nice.
Yeah, I met Cale and Adam, and
Oh, wow.
Obviously that year Cale Makar was like head and shoulders the best hockey player in the nation. So Adam Fox and I were kind of just up there knowing who was going to win. And I guess that's speaking for myself. I knew what was going to happen, but it was a cool experience for sure. And you see what those guys have gone on to do earlier in their careers, and I'm hoping to one day, play in their league.
Absolutely. And yeah, knowing Cal Makar and Adam Fox are probably like 2 top 5 defensemen, probably top 3 defensemen in the NHL. That's quite the competition, quite the group right there for sure. Especially how good Makar was in college. But
yeah,
I guess the next question, I have a couple of questions from followers. One was this one was kind of interesting. If you could have any meal with any hockey player, dead or alive, who would you pick and why?
Wow. For me, I actually probably would say Nicholas Lidstrom.
Yep.
I think just like watching a few, like, I think he was on that 24/7 show they used to do for the Winter Classic.
Lidstrom.
And since then, just kind of watching him growing up, he's Swedish, so nothing to do with that. It's just like the way he handled himself and how good he was without being the fastest skater, or the biggest player, or the strongest, most physical. With like kind of the attributes he had were all really good, but not by any means like the best in the league at anything specifically.
Mhm.
I think if he was the best, it was kind of just thinking the game and kind of managing the game.
Yeah.
But I'm actually reading his biography right now. So that kind of just, I don't know, that kind of just reminded me of that for sure. But yeah, just like the way that he was able to play and his attitude about the game, I think was so interesting. And um, I think for sure I'd just try to pick his brain and see what kind of guy he was.
Yeah, and just knowing about Lidstrom and watching him growing up, he's definitely he thinks the game so well, and just his hockey IQ is just off the charts. And watching the Red Wings when they were dominant back in that day was just insane. So definitely a great player. I'd love to
His
talk to him.
nickname's the perfect human, so I can imagine that.
Pretty close.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. Dawson, I think you probably had a couple of questions to ask. I don't mean to hog up the microphone.
Yeah, no, you're good. I was just gonna ask maybe a couple questions about you've been doing pretty well in Rochester this season. But going back a little bit, what was that juniors kind of experience like? How did you like that compared to playing at St. Cloud and then going up to the NHL, obviously for the Vegas for a game?
It's pretty cool. For me, I played in Omaha. I was lucky to play in the USHL for 2 years, and it's different. Obviously, it's different than college. It's different than pro. It's more of a pro hockey schedule where you play more than 40 games. I think we played 60 in the USHL, and then plus playoffs. And Omaha is like at least when I was there, it's like the top tier in USHL. Like that's probably Omaha, maybe Sioux Falls, and Dubuque, I want to say, are kind of like the top tier places. Mm-hmm. And it's it's more of a college culture, I would say, just as far as the younger guys and the camaraderie you have, and it's like kind of when you're hanging out, like everyone's hanging out type of thing. And pro hockey guys have wife and kids, and there's younger guys, there's older guys, and but the other thing is you have billet parents, so you're not just thrown out in the world to fend for yourself.
That's good.
Yeah, something ironic for me. My parents' names are Steve and Sherry, and when I got to Omaha as an affiliate, I met my billet parents whose names are Steve and Sherry.
What are the odds of that?
It was very weird. I saw it. It was like I saw it on a piece of paper, and I'm like, wait, why is my parents' names last name Zimmerman? Like that's not my last name. And my billet brother at the time, Jake Randolph, was like, no, that's our billet's names. I'm like, there's no way. Like this is insane. It actually freaked me out a little bit at first, but they're two of the best people I've ever met for sure. They're just like, as far as billet parents go, there can't possibly be anyone better. The way they took care of the players, the food they made, their house was awesome. They got you have the whole basement of ping pong pool. They live on a lake, which in Omaha was not like a regular lake, kind of more for looks. But yeah, they were amazing, and they kind of made the experience even better. But Omaha is a great place too. My younger brother go there for 3 years and ended up transferring. But it's a great city. If you guys are ever there, I would say go to the zoo, best in the country, and go watch a Lancers game.
For sure. If I ever make my way over there, I definitely want to travel a little bit more. Definitely, I'll have to check that out for sure. You got more questions, or?
Yeah, I just had one more. So take us through. Obviously, you got signed by the Sabres, this last off season. But when you played in your first NHL game, what was that kind of like?
It was amazing. It was a dream come true for me. I think pretty much like my whole life, I grew up watching the Wild, and it was just a dream of mine to play in the NHL. As soon as I kind of realized that it was a possibility, it's just something I'd been pushing towards. So for me, I ended up signing a contract with Vegas and getting to play a game in Los Angeles with my whole family there and a bunch of my friends. And I was able to get a point in that game.
Yeah,
and
big assist.
It was amazing. And ever since then, I battled injuries a little bit, and obviously not to. There's don't have any excuses that I haven't got back, but it's something that I've been pushing towards, like just knowing that, I can be there, and it's a bit of a motivating factor for me that I know that, I've seen it, I've been there, not for long, but it's something that I definitely want to get back to. So the experience was incredible. I've just the time spent with that team and that organization was definitely a dream come true. And yeah, only good things to say about Vegas. They're a very, very classy organization, and they're obviously you watch them play. You guys have seen how good they are, and it's no mistake with the people they have there, and just kind of the way they do things. And it was pretty sweet for sure.
Absolutely. That's incredible just to, probably experience that. And, it's something not a lot of people get to do that. So
yeah, but I think if you ask anyone, it's always a culmination of a lot of work by a lot of people. No one has ever done that themselves.
Right.
For me, obviously, just the chance to play hockey, I owe that to my parents, and the only reason I've gotten even as far as I've gotten is the amount of coaching and help I've gotten along the way. I think, without choosing St. Cloud, I for sure wouldn't have been able to do what I've done, just because that the culture there is so great. And I think if every person has a story about how many people have helped them get to that level for sure. And I think you guys have probably heard it from so many people before, but that it really is true. So
yeah, that's something that, not a lot of people talk about, and you don't think about often, like the people along the way that for everybody in life that, helps you to get to where, you want to be, or, where you'd be, from your family to your friends to St. Cloud. Just that's incredible. Just something that, not a lot of people think about. So
sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it sounds like you had a really great support group growing up with your parents, and then had an awesome time at St. Cloud with your teammates, and then even now, sounds like you've had a great career so far, and we hope that continues and that you can make it back to the league. We're hoping for you, and hoping for good health. So
absolutely, yeah, I appreciate it, guys. And I'm hoping
Thanks
that
for coming on, Jimmy, and
guys,
nice
I
meeting
hope
you.
someday you guys are competing with Spit and Chicklets on the Top Hockey
Yeah.
podcast. Sure.
Now we are. We'll have a great rest of your day.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it, guys.